Hello, my name is Jacob Monk. Welcome to this short program, which is called The Consequences of the Protestant Reformation. Well, maybe you know that today, 2017, it's 500 years since Luther he put up his 90 Theses on the church door in Wittenberg. And it is said among Protestants that this was the start of the Protestant Reformation. Well, maybe it was, but it was not the beginning of the Protestant Reformation, because there were quite a few other Protestant thinkers before Martin Luther, and the Catholic Church had been weakened by opposition forces, internal opposition forces, not only the opposition from the Orthodox Church, which was split out 400 years before, but also from Protestant thinkers from Europe. And therefore, the Church didn't have the strength to go against the Muslims. And the Muslims, they conquered Constantinople in 1453. So the Muslim success, the Islamic success in Constantinople, conquering it by military force and changing it from a Christian city to an Islamic city, this was one of the first results of the Protestant Reformation. Then we have the second result. Well, the second result was that the Catholic Church was split up in large parts of the church that went to different kinds of Protestantism. I'm talking about Scandinavia, some parts of Poland, England, Scotland, some parts of France, and elsewhere. Different kind of Protestant thinking was widespread in the 15th century in Europe as a result of the Lutheran Reformation, because Martin Luther had published his scriptures. In these scriptures they had very anti-Catholic content. Let us take one of the most infamous scriptures, Martin Luther's book about the freedom of the will. You know, Martin Luther, he said that you don't have freedom of your will. You only have your mind as some kind of machine. God is not running the life in this world. He's running in his own department, which is up in the sky. Here in this department down on earth, it is the kings and the aristocracy that is ruling the world. And you don't have a free will. So all what you do is evil. And because all what you do is evil, we need a very strong state to control you, because your internal drives tells you to do bad things and only to do bad things. That was the consequence of Martin Luther's thinking. And therefore, consequence number 2 is, in the Lutheran states, the state is very, very strong, very militaristic. And it is therefore the reason why we here in Scandinavia, in Denmark, Copenhagen, where I live, we pay around 60% of our income in state tax. That means most of what we earn by working, we have to pay to the state. So the state runs the whole society, and you don't even have to be married to have a family in the Lutheran countries in Scandinavia, because the state is the family of every citizen. That is why you need to pay that much in tax, because the state has to control you. Martin Luther didn't want freedom because people were evil beings. Therefore, the Lutheran state is highly repressive, exactly as the case is today in Scandinavia. So this was consequence number 2. First was the widespread Islamic reformation, I would say, the spread of Islam to Constantinople and to other parts of the old Christian empire. The Osmanic Empire had a great success because of the Reformation, because the Christian church was not able to fight back. Second, we have the big states, the strong states, because the Lutheran idea that God is not going to run this world. He has his own kingdom he is running. Here in this world, everything is run by Satan and the kings and the rulers, the aristocratic rulers. So this is consequence number 2. Consequence number 3 is nationalism. Because Martin Luther, he had the idea that the Pope should have no influence on religion nowhere in the world. Therefore, Protestant didn't accept that should be a common ruler of the Christian world. And therefore, all the Protestant countries, they had their own legislation, their own interpretation of Christianity. They had their own religion, their own version of Christianity. And this was the reason why a lot of war followed the Protestant Reformation and the growing nationalism. For example, in Denmark, where I'm living, we had war with Germany and with Sweden, and we also fought against the English. And that's why we lost Norway, the Danish parts of Sweden we lost, and we lost the southern part of Denmark, Sønderjylland, called in Denmark, after a war 1964 with Germany. So Protestantism was the reason why Denmark was reduced with more than 50% of its size because of wars with other Protestant countries. And all over the Protestant world, nationalism was growing, and up until today, 2017, nationalism has been the evil root of numerous wars everywhere in the world, in Europe, in Asia, and elsewhere. So nationalism is a very bad thing. Not that I don't want people to be living in a nation, that is okay. But to uphold the nation's values in such a religious, strong, aggressive way that you want to have war against other nations with other values, that is not very good. American imperialism today is based on American nationalism, and that is the root cause of most disasters, of most terrorism in this world. I don't have to mention specific countries where the American imperialism has led to a disaster. Well, this was consequence number 3 of the Protestant Reformation. Consequence number 4 is the deterioration of any kind of morality. The basic idea in Lutheranism is that nothing is true. Everything is subjective. That is why the main philosopher of Lutheranism is Immanuel Kant, who said that you are not able to perceive the real world in your mind. So what you are thinking about is not the real world, it is some kind of imaginative world. And that is why the objective reality is not existing. Aristotle was not right when he thought that the objective reality is something you can see, hear, look and feel with your 5 senses. According to Martin Luther and Kant, this is not the case. And therefore nothing is true, nothing is false, nothing is good, nothing is bad. The Lutheran ethics is based on the idea that everything is evil. So there's no reason in going to confession to your priest, because no matter what you confess and what you do, you continue to do evil things and nothing else. The other consequence is that according to Lutheranism, you can't even understand, perceive what is truth and what is not truth. That is why there is no reason to discuss truth or not truth, because no one will ever know what is truth. And that is the basic reason why power in the Lutheran world is based on military and nothing else. Because when nothing is wrong, nothing is bad. When nothing is true, when nothing is a lie, then it is only a question of who has the best weapons. It's like in the jungle. The biggest animals, they eat the smaller animals. The biggest animals, they decide who shall sleep where. Because if the smaller animals do not follow the big animals, they just get killed. It is the same consequence the Lutheran Reformation has had for this world, and this is the reason why national sovereignty, exactly what Luther thought would follow from this Reformation, this is not existing anymore. Any country in the world, except Russia and China, are more or less run by USA, by Jewish Hollywood culture and by American ideological and economic imperialism. So this was the end of my short speech. What was the consequences of the Reformation? I'm sorry, they were all very, very bad. And today, when the nations compete about being most rich and most powerful, it is the result of the Reformation. When here in Denmark 18,000 unborn children are killed in their mother's womb every year. In fact, in Western Europe, in the Protestant countries, the most dangerous place to live for a human being is in his mother's womb, because there is a risk of abortion, because abortion is Protestant Lutheran ethics in practice. So Lutheranism has led to war, bad morals, deterioration of life quality, to non-acceptance of ethics and the human ability to recognize what is false and what is truth. Actually, The consequence of Lutheranism is that nothing really matters. Nothing really matters. You have the right to do exactly what you want, and life has no meaning at all. You could just as well go and kill yourself. Thank you for listening.